Hi, JJ. It's Laura Kraut, and thank you so much for sending your videos through to the Online Riders Collective. I understand you are also a clinician, so that's really cool. I think it's a great idea. I'm hopeful that it will take off and we can earn some good money for the people who need it. First, I'll start off by saying I've watched your rounds probably 5 or 6 times, and I'll start by saying Summer looks like a really lovely horse, 12 years old, chestnut mare, which I love chestnut mares. When they're good, they're really, really good. She looks to be a very good jumper, really careful, and enough spook to her that it keeps her careful. The one downside would be, I would say, it's probably pretty obvious that she doesn't have a very good mouth. And I think you do a good job of handling that. The first thing that I notice, and pardon me, my eyes are not the best and it's hard to see, but I've tried to study. It looks like you may have a gag on her. And I've ridden quite a few horses that have that sort of, high head and really stiff mouth. And yes, the gag is great for a stiff mouthed horse, but I also find that with a gag, it makes them want to throw their nose a little bit higher. So I didn't know what other ideas you've ever tried with her. The first thing I see would be, I would even try a hackamore with a chain on the nose, on the top of the nose. Just as I rode Liberty in, I battled with her my whole career with her until the end, and then I put a hackamore on her, and she was like riding a pony around. Anyhow, I think for me, just watching this, it looks like you would be very, very competitive if you have just that much more control. The control is on and off. So I would keep, while we have this downtime, I would keep messing around and trying different things. I've had huge success with a straight Pelham, rubber, hard rubber Pelham. There's hack-a-bits and and I'm sure you've probably done all this, but again, sometimes if you haven't tried it in a year, or I don't know how long you've had the mare, but I would try it again and just keep working on different things. Also, I don't know if you do this, but a lot of times with a horse like this, I would warm up with standing martingale and keep that standing martingale on all the time, just for the training part of it. And then obviously take it off before you go in the ring, just to give her a boundary and make her have to listen. Because for me, it looks like you're great at seeing where you want to be a long way off. So you make your adjustment way back so that then you sit quiet, which is great until you come across a line, that say a big oxer, 4.5 strides to 2 verticals that you need to do a 5. And I think then you'd struggle. I think it's that last bit of control that we're always looking for. And that's what sort of separates the best from the rest. So with that being said, I'll start your video, and I might point out that you actually do a great job. Your position is really good. Your leg is strong. Your upper body is excellent in the air, because I know how it is sometimes when they don't want to make a round jump. It's hard to stay with them, and you really are good at staying with the horse. So the first round, she jumps the first fence. Well, a little spooky to the second jump, but you know her, so you knew you could trust her. You just put your leg on, and she jumped it great. And a little fussy through this turn, and she gets that racky canter, which then makes it even harder. But I think you do a very good job down this line, and she's got plenty of scope. She comes out of that really well. And then, a bit through the turns, you end up being just having to be aggressive, because I think she's locked on and not listening, which for me, I just would stress, continue to try to find something that gets her to ride a little bit better than that. You're coming around now to this oxer to vertical double, and then you're going away from me on this oxer, and she jumps it well. You flop a little bit in the saddle. I'm not going to pick on you too much, but that's just something that you could work on. And then I'm going to pause it right here, because this is sort of a funny thing that we have amongst our group here with myself and my sister and Nick. Your tie comes out, which we actually charge for that. We charge $100 if we have a student whose tie comes out on course. Just, I mean, for the obvious that it's distracting. It's also distracting for yourself. And, when you're in a big class, the last thing you need is something like that bothering you. So just make sure the next time you pin your tie down. I think you have it pinned in the jump off because it doesn't come off. But anyways, and aside from your dress faux pas, as you come through the turn, you can definitely tell. So you're going from fence 8 to fence 9. You sort of land a little bit sloppy in the tack, and then she gets even a little bit more unrideable, which is normal as a horse like this goes around the course. But she jumps the hell out of the line. And then you're good at making use of your space and sort of bracing your leg and holding her as much as you can to get the last double done. And again, the last jump, she jumps well. You can see where you lose your body control on the last jump as well. And that's just something to keep in mind. I mean, it's a detail that is something you should work on. Don't lose your body control if you can help it, ever. And it's also a distraction that she doesn't need. So, because she's obviously got her own issues. So I think the quieter you can sit in the air and on landing, the better control you're going to get for the next bit. We're starting with the jump off, which it's no surprise that she's better in the jump off because you're trying to go quicker, so you're not interfering with her through the turn. But that's not possible in the first round. So I'm not saying that that's good or bad. It's just the way it is. 1, 2, and 3 are beautiful. Then she gets rolling a little bit, and you get control of her in the turn. Good ride here to the double. Really good with your body coming out because she doesn't drop her head down too much. Hard to get a good turn on her because she locks on the right side and doesn't turn. And then, again, very good ride here to the yellow. And then as you come to the last, good job in just keeping her off it. And okay, you threw your body down because of the timers, which makes sense. But I think, the thing is you're afraid to let her go too quick because then you aren't going to be able to get her back. So I think, again, keep working on the control, because then I think like after fence 3 and the jump off, as you're heading over to that double, you can't really put the pedal down and go because you're not sure if you have to get a hold of her and slow down that you can. Same thing coming out of the double. You don't get the turn on the landing that you want because she locks in. So I'm happy to talk to you about this at length through a different means if you'd like, but I think that she looks to be fantastic and definitely worth the effort. I think she looks really competitive, and you do a fantastic job. I struggled. That's why I watched it so many times, because I thought, what am I going to say to him? Because you do a very good job. So I picked on the few little things that I can think of, but I definitely would continue with finding something that gives you better control, more rideability. And best of luck. And hopefully we'll all be back in the show ring sometime soon. Until then, take care and speak to you soon. Bye.